And
Yay,
we're live.
we're
Hi, everybody.
live! Thanks for your patience. I know we're starting about 10 minutes late.
Well,
Tech.
everybody
What can I say?
hop on. I know, right? Like, my camera's all messed up. I had to reboot my laptop. It was all bonkers.
I think you guys know that. You have it working on one call and then you get to the next and it's gone. But anyway, we're so excited to be back. We hope you guys had a happy Memorial Day. Celebrating those who have given their life for American freedoms, right? Mm-hmm. I'm terrible at holidays. So yay, we're grateful for them. That sounded terrible. I'm sorry. I didn't mean that to be frivolous. I was just trying to understand.
Julie made it live. Hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie. Yay. So thank you for those who have given service for our freedoms. We really appreciate it. I saw a cool sign that's like, want to thank an American soldier, be the kind of American worth fighting for. And I was like, I like that.
Oh, that was good.
I do, because that puts it back on me to be the best kind of human that I can be. And I think that's what we both want.
Yeah.
In our various ways, it's just to help people be the best humans that they can be. So welcome back. It's Tuesday. We're so excited. Now, last week I told you we were going to talk about women and money, and today we
that's right.
are.
You made promises something
I
like
did,
that
but we are going to talk about it. The title doesn't make you think we are, but we are.
I changed it up a little bit because I'm like, what do we need? There's something I've been wanting to talk about for a little bit, and there's something I have talked about before, but just about things happening. I thought that was a little more relevant, but it really ties into what you want to do.
It does tie in, so that's why I didn't fight him. I was like, no, you're fine. You don't think we're talking about the same thing, but we are.
Oh, really?
Yes, really. So we're talking about plastic and the $20 bill and how those two things are damaging your money relationship. And what do we mean by plastic, Joe?
I don't have anything. So we're going to use my, plastic like cards,
that's probably
right?
true. Because I was like, oh, just show your credit card. But then I was like, oh, no, that has our number on
I
it.
can't do that on a live stream. That's like real info.
See, that's what he's
so I'll use my Dave & Buster's Power Card, right? Because we all have these plastic things. This does have value on it if I take it back. But this is the type of plastic I'm talking about. I'm talking about credit cards, debit cards. These cards that allow us to see and use our money in a way that merchants will accept them. And then the $20, you told about the other?
No, we're going to get into that. Let's just talk through plastic right now. So we have plastic. Yeah.
Well, plastic's important. So it's very interesting what's happening, right? I want to talk about some current things that are happening across the country because let's just call them out. Visa, MasterCard, Discover Card, American Express, there's like
et cetera,
right? They're really pushing, right, for the convenience of using a card when we make purchases. And vendors love it, even though they have to pay fees, right? That's why Visa, MasterCard, these big credit card companies like the stuff because they get paid for each transaction, right? So they're all happy. They're like, hey, let's do this. But here's the deal. It's making it easier, right? I think if you look at it, the thing that just popped in my head was you see the ads, right? They're ads and they market very well.
They market so well that American Express had a card in Batman. You guys remember the old Batman and Robin with Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy? He's like, I never go without it. And it's the Bat card. It's like, oh my gosh, for reals. It's everywhere. It's in toys. Toys have Barbie that have little cards inside with the Barbie so she can shop. These things are everywhere. And while we're not advocating for the complete removal of credit cards, we're not extreme like that. That's not what we're saying.
No, I just always like to talk about what's happening in our mind, right? But I want to talk about this one. So the last one, the ad, there's an ad, and I think it's a Visa ad where you see that everybody's in this busy bistro or something. Remember this ad? Mm-hmm. And people are moving, and then you just see the people swiping cards. All of a sudden, someone pays with cash, and it's like a traffic jam of people, and people are dropping trays and all this stuff, right? So they're marketing to us very well inside our brains about, we just need to use a card because guess what? It makes life easier.
Or we're going to mess other people up behind us.
Yeah, we're going to impact somebody else if we don't.
We're going to be too slow.
If we use
Can I tell a funny story about cards?
Sure.
Here, no, you finish your point on cards, and then I'm going to tell my story.
I was going to say, if we use cash, then we're going to impact somebody, right? And how many of us out there want to impact somebody's day in a way that's negative, right? That's what they're marketing to us.
No, not negative.
Right? And most all of you are like, well, I don't want to, so I'm just going to make life easier for everybody else, right? We're psychologically living in somebody else's brain because we don't want to get in the way, right?
So what happens when we have a card? What happens to our relationship with money? Because that's what we're talking about today, is how is having plastic damaging our money relationship?
Well, I mean, it goes back to one, we're impacting somebody else, so we use it so we don't impact somebody else's day. See how they're working on us that way. The other one is we start to disassociate with our actual cash, right? We talked about last week about bringing cash in. And I know a lot of people like messaged me and said, hey, I went and got some cash, so I have some now. I'm talking to it.
Hey, yay! If you went out and got cash and talked to your money from last week, congratulations! Woo! Celebrating you.
Right? It's really cool. But I had a lot of people like message me and say, hey, this is really cool. I got cash and I don't know what to do with it now. Right? And people were like, so Joe, am I doing this right? I even had some people say, hey, am I doing this talking to money thing right? And I'm like, yeah, just talk to it. Like, it's not a big deal. But if we continue to use plastic, right? And that's the thing. The plastic is not bad, but it's like we got to be conscious of what we're doing with it and how we're interacting with it and how it makes it so the interaction is not like it is with our money.
And I want to say that one again. It's not about not having plastic. It's about being conscious of the relationship that we still have with money.
Yeah, I want to take it one step further.
Okay, go ahead.
So I know we're on Facebook streaming right now, right? But think about it this perspective also. How many of you only interact with your friends and people you know online and not in real life?
And how many of you like that? Because I have friends that we interact almost solely online because they're in different states.
Yep.
But you better believe any chance I can get to see them in person, sometimes we're like, you know what, we need to make something up. There's not an event coming that's close enough. Let's just meet up in Vegas because it's been too long and I want to see you. So it's about it's about taking this relationship to present, in person, deeper connections, because the better connection and relationship we have with cash, what happens?
The more it shows up.
Okay. And
it's plain and simple, right? And it's the same with people, right? If we interact with people in real life, we have better, stronger connections. Like I'm not downplaying the social media game. I'm not really downplaying the plastic part, right? Of how we interact with our money. What I'm saying is we start to disassociate from the thing that really brings us joy, which is our good, wholesome relationships with people, right? When we start cutting those off, then we start to separate ourselves from things. We start getting more down on ourselves, and a whole spiral happens.
And who wins, Joe? When we disassociate with money, who wins?
Well, we don't win.
No.
Other people win, right? The big corporations win, right? These people that are taking from us and not giving back to us. And there's a whole piece we could talk about that. And we're not going to dive that deep today.
I love that he's like, we're not diving that deep.
There's a fine line to walk.
There's a whole societal issue here on disassociating people with their money. And I won't get really deep on this, but let us be conscious of the relationship that we're having with money, because as we disassociate, the people without money continue to not get money. And the people who are good at having that relationship with money continue to get more money. So we see that gap widening between those that have and those that have not. And it's not that I'm against people having. I want all of us to have. But if we continue to allow and go, oh, we don't need to talk to money, we don't need to carry cash, we don't want to carry cash, carrying cash is scary, then we continue to put ourselves in a disadvantage rather than tapping into the abundance and the infinite access to resources that is available to us.
Well, we start to.
Is that okay without going super deep?
And that goes back to that separation piece I was talking about. We right, because everything is about you, and I'll point, right, because I want to be pokey here. Everything's about you. So when you start feeling yourself disassociate yourself from relationships, that's up to you to fix.
So right? We can still have plastic and have a positive relationship with cash. And that goes back to what we talked about last week on talking to money.
Yep.
But we have to be conscious of it. And that's what today is all about. It's being conscious and being real about the impact that is having in our lives. Because you'll have a lot of people that are like, it's not a big deal. It's just not a big deal. I don't know why you're making it a big deal. Well, it is a big deal. And that's what we're here to say, is it is a big deal to disassociate your relationship, not just from yourself and from others, but from money. Because it is a relationship and it is a reflector of everything else you're trying to bring into your life. So if you're not where you want to be, get back to talking to your cash. Okay, chat with your cash. That's what we're saying.
It's all about the relationship, right? That's all I advocate for, is have a better relationship with money, because I know what kind of impact it has on the rest of your life.
So can we talking about impact, we want to talk about the $20 bill. And it was actually Joe that read the article and brought this to my attention. Y'all know I'm all about women. Meaning there is so much that I think women, and that's white women and especially women of color who have been at a much bigger disadvantage than even white women, it has been a struggle for us to not just see equality in our rights, but to see equality in the kind of money that we can make and the positions that we can hold in corporate America and even outside of corporate America in entrepreneurship. I was just reading a comment the other day of this really amazing entrepreneur who's on a date, and this guy is trying to support her in like the fact that she's an entrepreneur. It's like, well, if you get a good bookkeeper, you'll be an amazing business owner. And she is so far past that. Like, this woman is generating tons and tons and tons of cash. And yet the assumption was she's still starting out and doesn't know, and he needs to help her. So all of that to say, there is something happening in our government right now that's incredibly important and incredibly powerful in the damaging of our relationship with money. And this is why I was okay that Joe wanted to change the conversation slightly, because women, we already struggle bringing money into our lives. And I'm not going to say that's every woman, because I know there's a lot of women out there who are super amazing money generators. My question would be, if your relationship isn't fixed with money, how much more cash could you be bringing in, right? But that to say, so this is just saying, but in general, women psychologically and energetically push money away from them. And one of the things we talk about all the time is, guess who's on our money in America? Think about it, women.
Think about it. I mean, I can show you examples. I got some here. I have my stack, right? We have Benjamin Franklin. He's not a bad dude, but I mean, he's a white dude.
We have Thomas Jefferson.
If I had $20 bills, that's one I want to talk about.
White dude. Oh yeah, I wish we had gotten one of those.
I know.
We have
George Washington, the
white dude.
Bill, right?
I think Jackson's on the 20, white dude. So every time we look at our money, we're seeing men. And for those women who have had issues with men, and that's a vast majority of us, every time we try to have a relationship with money, it's like we're trying to have a relationship with these white men who oftentimes represent the abusers in our lives or the problem makers in our lives. And right now in America, sorry, I'll try and be less passionate, but we had gone through a situation by voting for who we want on the next $20 bill. And that was a woman, and I believe it was Harriet Tubman.
Yep.
I believe that was, we all agreed.
Context to this, right? For those who have not read, right? 2016, there was a little contest, I think is how it kind of came up. But the Treasury Department was like, hey, we want to change up. We're changing the $10 bill. We're changing the $50 bill, right? They're adding more security things so people can't counterfeit them. And they're like, we need to do the $20 bill because it's one of the most used bills.
Yep.
So they put it out for public opinion to be like, hey, what do we want? How do we want to change this up? And the conversation came to be like, hey, we want to change who's on there, because a lot of people, if you read history, Andrew Jackson was an actual horrible president. He did a lot of really unethical things. He was not for social justice. I'll just say Trail of Tears, right? I mean, that was him and his doing and all the government around that. Right. But this is not a government talk, but read about it if you haven't, okay? So people were like, let's change this one, right? And literally it came down to, we want to put a woman on it, and they voted on it, and right, Harriet Tubman, for all that she's done for us and throughout all history, they wanted to put her on the $20 bill. Which was such a huge win. Woman on the dollar bill, woman of color on the $20 bill. Like, this was so exciting in 2016. I was like, yes! So that was 3 years ago, right? So we're talking 3 years ago, a different administration, right? And for our people who are watching this that don't live in America, go read about it because it's all over the internet. Yeah. So like literally last week. So I've been waiting for this. I'm like, this is awesome, right? It's going to give women at least another woman to see on our money, our currency. On our most used money, right? On the one that everybody would be interacting with, that everybody sees, that most people use. We would finally have representation on our paper currency. And men out there, if you don't understand this, and even the women that don't, that's okay that you don't understand this, but I have to say that as a woman, as a girl growing up and going, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? In all facets of culture growing up, whether that was family, religion, whatever, it was like, where am I? This became such a powerful thing for me to go, yes, finally,
I will see myself reflected on a currency, on the $20 bill. And so just last week, go ahead, Joe.
So just last week, our new Treasury Department, which has already said that there's a possibility they're not going to do it, right? I mean, there's been rumor ever since the administration changed.
Because, and I'm just going to call this out. What did our current administration say about women on money? No, just say it.
I was going to say Donald Trump wanted to put it on the $2 bill, and I don't remember what other stupid things he said, but it's just ridiculous, right? We have $2 bills, but people don't even realize that we have $2 bills. Like,
and so the president of our nation wanted to put a women's picture on the least used bill, the bill that most people look at and go, that's not real. That's actually happened. Some guy tried to pay with a $2 bill and couldn't pay with a $2 bill because the restaurant he was at didn't believe it was real money. That's where our current president, whatever, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, that's not what this is about. This is just the idea that people in power want women on the bill that they see as illusionary. That's where they want our face. You can laugh, but I'm
only laugh because it's so true, and I hear these stories all the time, right? Because we want to bring it back. We're not talking politics here. We want to bring it back to what are you using and how psychologically is money impacting your life?
Oh, let's just finish the story though.
Well, I'm going back.
Okay, thank you.
Right? So like a week ago, the Treasury Department came out and said, okay, blah, 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 because of stupid reasons. And
yeah, stupid reasons.
We're going to push off this decision for 9 more years.
9.
Like not till next year. Not till the year after. They've already been working on it for 3 years, people. And they want to push it off for 9 more years.
Because they'd rather do the 10 and the 50 right now.
Well, those were already in flight.
Okay,
right?
well, that's fine.
Pushing off this decision
I'm just saying that, isn't it interesting that the one that we're trying to get the woman's face on is being pushed off 9 more years, and the other 2 are just like, oh, no, those are going fine. Those will be just fine. We'll make it work, right? But because of the difficulty of putting a woman's face on money, that's being postponed for 9 years. So this is so powerful. I want you to see the psychological effect that we're not even conscious of. The first time Joe pointed out to me, well, who's on the money? I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize the psychological effect that seeing only white men on my currency was having for me personally in regards to that relationship. And now we're in a place where we almost have that solved. And yet again, powers that be have decided to push that off 9 more years. Because what happens, and women, I want you to think about this, and men, I want you to think about this too. What happens if women have a better relationship with money? Think about it. Energetically, I can tell you that feminine energy draws more resources, ridiculously more powerful than masculine energy does. And both are necessary and both are balanced, and we have both inside of us. But if we have a whole world, 50% of our global population, about 50% is women. So if we take that and apply that to America, about 50% are women. If 50% of our population in America suddenly started being able to increase their cash flow because of having a better relationship with money, we have women making more decisions. We have women having more buying power because we already have a ton of buying power. We don't understand it, but we have a ton of buying power, and we have more buying power. So now we have women feeling more empowered, which gives us more voice, which gives us more voting, which gives us, you guys, it rolls out.
It changes everything, right? So think about it from that perspective. Think about how your money is affecting you, right? Last week we were talking about, are you talking to your money? But this week is all about really our interaction with it, right? And
are we being conscious of it?
Like Debbie just said, there's the implications of like, if you change how you interact with money, your life will literally start changing.
And I want you to know, coming back to this, we still have the power. Go talk to your money. You can still heal those relationships. You can still have a powerful relationship with American currency or any currency in any nation that you live. You can still have that regardless of whose face is on the dollar bill. But that's because we are choosing to be conscious of it. Yep. The next gen millionaire is choosing to be conscious of the relationship that we're having with money. The rest of the people who are still asleep to this understanding are not conscious of it. So those in authority, as long as they can keep our picture off dollar bills, as long as they can keep our empowerment off to the side and in the shadows and convince us that we're happy the way that we are, right? As long as they can do that, then those of us who are unconscious to the relationship will continue to choose in to the status quo, which leaves them in power and us pretending we have power, or us going, oh, what I have is enough, right? So what is happening, the machinations at play, whether we're looking at plastic or we're looking at the $20 bill situation, is powers that be keeping the unconscious in limited resources. And it's up to us as next gen millionaires, and that's us here, and that's you on the other side of this camera, to go, regardless of what you're trying to do, powers that be, I'm choosing something different. Because what I don't want you to do is to walk away from this conversation and be like, oh, alas, poor sorrow, what do I do? There's nothing I can do. It's like, no. You still have the power, but that's because you're choosing into consciousness. You're choosing into being awake at what's happening, and you're choosing to say, I am still going to develop this relationship, and I'm going to be aware of this relationship, and I'm choosing into this relationship with power rather than floating on in this unconscious stream of this is just the way it is. Sorry, I had to say that. I was like, no, don't walk away feeling like you don't have power. You do have power. But I'm also worried about the rest of the asleep Americans and the world who are unconscious of these things because it's impacting them and they don't even know.
Yeah.
That's why I get so fired up. I'm like, I see you, powers that be. I see what you're doing.
Say what you said. That's what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry. Were you going to? Sorry. I get so fired up. I get so fired up on these issues.
Because it's true. Like what Debbie said, for any of us, when it comes to money, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to anything in life, you're in control. You really are.
Yes.
Right. And for your world outside of you to change, you have to change your inner world, because if you don't, then it's never going to change. You're going to keep running into the same stories and the same patterns over and over and over.
Amen, amen, and amen.
My hope is as you guys watch these different Cash and Courage episodes, that we start in opening up your minds to a new perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to look at your life and be like, hey, I wonder if things could be different if I change just these few couple little small tweaks.
The answer is yes, by the way, and we can show you how.
if I started talking to money, could my life change?
Yes.
If I started looking at how I use my credit cards, or how I looked at money in a different way, or if I started being paid attention to what's actually happening in our society, in our government, in other nations, how does that affect us?
Right.
Because it's all affecting you. You're all reading news. You're all interacting with people. It's affecting you. The question is, are you aware of it? And if you're aware of it, that's cool, because in all transformation, awareness is the first step.
Yeah.
But awareness isn't enough to change. You have to take action, right? Awareness and action equals transformation. Things aren't going to change inside of here if you don't actually take the action.
Right.
So we're helping you become aware. Now it's up to you to take action about what you want to do and see if you find the transformation you're looking for.
Not see if you will. Prove us wrong. Do this work and then prove me wrong that changing your relationship with money does not change how much comes into your life. That's what I would love to see. You know what? Sitting by you, I get so much of your ruler 8 energy, whatever that is, because I'm normally not this like rah, rah, rah. And then I get by Joe and I'm like, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because it is so meaningful to me that we have more impact from people who are designed and willing to do good things in this world. We have plenty of impact from really shitty human beings. I want to see really amazing, powerful, phenomenal, aligned, searching for a better humanity. I want to see those people making impact. And we know one of the ways we do that is by having access to resources that allow us to do that. Yep. And the way that we call more resources, whether it is money, whether it is time, whether it is energy, whether it is love, whether it is people, right? It's not just about the money. It's not, you say it, it's your line.
It's never about the money.
Right? Whatever that is that we're calling to us, as we move these stories, money is the reflector. It's the door that gets us through the gate that shows us what's going on. And so as we move those stories, as we take the action, as Joe said, that is where the transformation will happen. It's not if it will happen, it will happen.
Oh, I know it will happen. I'm just like, if you guys, you should go try it.
No, be your ruler right now.
I'm just like, it will happen.
It will happen. And
you have to do the work.
That to me again and again. So you guys, that is what we had to share with you today. And I just want to say one more thing, because spots are filling up in the group program that we're putting together. We found a system that will allow it to keep your your side of the conversation private. We're going to use a specific app where Joe can broadcast to the group, and then you can respond to Joe in private. So this is a walk through your money story. We can help you with awareness in these conversations here on Cash and Courage. But if you want the transformation, that requires action. And to take the action, that means getting with us in this group. In the next, do we call it Cash and Courage? I don't know what we called it.
Names aren't important.
Names aren't important. Action is. And so if that's what you're looking for, it's 6 weeks in the trenches, identifying your money stories, and not just having awareness, but taking the action to move it out of the way. And if that is what you're ready for, if you're ready for more resources, if you're ready for greater impact, if you are ready to heal not just your relationship with yourself, but with your money and your higher power and all the things connected to that, then this is the experience for you. Say yes in the comments, I want in, and Joe will reach out and he will message you, and we will get you in the lineup to be a part of this group, because you are talking to everybody before they join.
Yep.
To make sure that this is a good fit. So you guys get on that, be with us. Women, please join me in this program, in this next 6 weeks that we're going to run through together. Let us change the story, not because the government has the power to change the story, but because we have the power to change the story. And when we change the story, they will have to change the story, because we will no longer allow them to put this bullshit out where we don't get to show up on the currency that we use day in and day out. It is time for something better. For us and for men and for us together, because we've got to stop having this happen between men and women. But that starts, I think, with us owning our own power and stepping up to the plate and saying, hell yes, I'm in, make space, right? And for me, it's like, I'm gonna get that money. I'm gonna get the resources to continue to fund the impact and the change that I want to see in the world. So let me just take a deep breath.
Because at the end of the day, I like to say over and over, right? It's up to you to make that choice, up to you to make the decision. There's plenty of resources out there for everybody. We have to be the ones that want it so much that we go make the change. And there's easier way to do it than other people out there that are saying. But you gotta choose into you first.
Yeah.
If you don't, then that's up to you.
Yeah.
You can keep complaining and keep sitting there, or you can choose and change something. And make impact like what you want. We were there once.
Yep.
We've changed. So
and we continue. I'm still on that journey. That's why I show up for these calls. Because I'm learning every week in my things with Joe, every week. And there's even more that we could share with you on the women front that just absolutely blew my mind. But we are more powerful. Yeah, we'll keep it light. I just want us all to hear, whether men or women, because this isn't about either or. We believe in an and. We believe in positive integration of divine masculine and divine feminine, that both are required to move humanity forward. And so this is about understanding that we, all of us as individuals and as a group, are more powerful than we're giving ourselves credit for, because we're living by stories that no longer serve us. So it's time to get rid of the stories. It's time to start being conscious of money. It's time to be aware of how it's impacting us so that we can stop damaging our money relationship and start healing our money relationship.
Yep.
And by healing our money relationship, healing ourselves in the world.
Yep.
So
happens every time. So
yeah,
up to you to what you want to do. Anyways.
Okay.
We are at like the 30-minute mark. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. We'll be back next Monday, 1 o'clock. Mountain time?
On Monday. Yep, on Monday. Somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah,
on Monday. We're going back to Monday because there's no holiday next week.
Oh, we'll be live streaming from California.
Yeah, because we'll be there.
Yep.
Yeah. So you guys get in, get on. If you want to join us in the next 6 weeks to rewrite your money stories, then just let us know in the comments below. Yes, I'm in, and Joe will reach out to you. Otherwise, we'll see you on Facebook, and we'll definitely see you next week from streaming live from California.
Somewhere.
Yep.
See you guys. Bye.
All right. Bye.